Let's start with a question. What kind of first impression do you think your Instagram grid or website gives? Take a second to sit with that, okay? If someone were to stumble across your brand online today, maybe they're scrolling through Instagram or like clicking onto a link in a Facebook group, whatever, what's the impression they'd walk away with? Would they know what to do right away? Would it feel cohesive, inviting, confident? Or would it feel kind of like a beautiful mess? Maybe a little bit unclear, maybe even forgettable. All right. This is one of the most common and most overlooked mistakes that beginner henna artists make in their marketing. And it's totally understandable. Okay. When you're just starting out, you're focused on getting your work out there, you're experimenting with different looks, you're grabbing inspiration from artists you admire, you're probably trying Canva templates and switching up your content every few posts. But here's the truth. Inconsistency in how your brand looks is actually creating inconsistency in how your brand feels, and that impacts how your audience trusts you, okay? When your visuals are constantly changing, different fonts here, random colors there, wildly different tone of voice from one caption to the next, your audience doesn't feel grounded. They don't know what to expect from you. And that lack of consistency makes it harder for them to connect, to remember you, and ultimately to book with you, okay? So think about the brands that you love and recognize instantly. It might be Nike or Apple or Kate Spade or even your favorite local coffee shop, whatever. They're consistent, right? You know what their logo looks like. You know what their colors feel like, what kind of vibe they bring every time you see their content. This doesn't happen by accident. It's built through very intentional visual identity and brand voice. And don't worry, you don't need a big budget or a fancy design background in order to create this for yourself. You just need a system, a simple foundation that helps you to show up in a recognizable and aligned way. Okay, so here's where we start. Stick with me. So choose 1 to 2 fonts, right? One will be for your headers or big bold titles, and then one that's going to be for your body text. That's it. Then choose 2 to 3 brand colors, and these should feel aligned with your brand's personality and what you want people to associate with your work. Whether that's warm and earthy, bold and bright, clean and modern, whatever fits you is fine, but stay consistent. Okay. And then finally, choose 3 tone of voice words that describe how you want your brand to feel when people read your captions or watch your videos. Are you playful, grounded, artistic, luxurious, whatever that is, choose your 3 and write them down. Now, you've got the beginning of a simple brand guide just with those few things that I pointed out. Nothing fancy, but clear, okay? And this becomes your compass. And before you post anything new, now moving forward, whether it's a photo, a reel, a graphic, a blog to your website, whatever, ask yourself, am I using my brand colors and fonts here? Does the tone of this caption or this voiceover feel aligned with my brand personality? It's just a simple filter, but it builds massive trust over time. And here's the magic. Repetition isn't boring. Repetition builds recognition. So when your audience sees your colors, your fonts, your voice again and again and again, they start to associate those elements with you. And you become familiar, you become memorable, you become a brand that people feel connected to even before they ever book you. And that really matters in building trust. And this is especially important as a service provider, right? When people are making a decision about who to hire for something as personal and as special as henna, they're not just looking at your skill set, they're looking at your professionalism, your confidence, your clarity. And nothing says, I'm still figuring this out, louder than a brand that looks different every single time you show up. So if you've been tempted to keep switching up your templates every week or changing your font every time Canva suggests something new to you, take a breath, pause, and come back to your foundation. This is your opportunity to step into consistency, okay? Not because it's trendy, but because it builds trust. And that's what matters. So I'm going to leave you with a little actionable task today, okay? I want you to create a simple brand guide. You just are going to write down 2 to 3 brand colors with hex codes so you can copy and paste them every time and the colors are always consistent. I want you to choose 1 to 2 fonts and stick with them. Stop going and trying something new every time and write out your 3 tone of voice words, okay? Then use this guide to align your next 5 pieces of content. That might be 5 Instagram posts or 5 blog posts or 5 email newsletters, whatever you're creating, it doesn't matter. But use this to make sure it's all aligned visually and tonally with the brand that you're building. It'll feel a little bit repetitive at first, and you might even get bored with it before your audience does. But trust me, by the time you're bored of it, they're just starting to notice. And the moment someone says, hey, I saw this and I immediately thought of you, you'll know that you're doing it right, okay? This is how we build not just a feed, but a feeling. And of course, if you want more support with this, come join us inside of the Hennapreneur app. There you'll find all sorts of resources, and I've got templates and real-time community feedback and all those things to help you solidify your brand identity. And of course, build a business that feels just as beautiful and intentional as the art that you create. Okay, I'd love to work with you over there. And you don't have to figure this out alone. We've got you. Okay, so head to the App Store and search Hennapreneur to download the app today. Join our community there. I'll talk to you soon.